to step to the side, heading towards some hats that were placed on tables to the side of the game arena, I guess you could call it. Several were being held by nearby people at the party. As they went about that business, I scanned the audience, looking for signs of my mother. I saw her in the front row with most of the rest of the parents, with a worried expression on her face, standing by Mrs. Sanderson. I suppose she was concerned, hoping that I would do well in this test, thereby proving the scholastic ability of the Worthington family and the importance of intelligence in it. Doing so would most likely be a boon to our reputation as a whole. However, standing right beside me with a massive smile on her face was Eliza, of course. A testing of our education was definitely in her interest. This competition would definitely roll in her favor if things did not go my way. My only hope would be that things other than raw science and mathematic ability would be taken into account and included in the test. Otherwise, it was looking very clear that Eliza would claim victory. While honestly I should be hoping to win myself, I truthfully really wanted Eliza to win rather than me, because even if I did manage to win this little contest, my reward, other than a few pats on the back and high regards from some of the adults, would undoubtedly be some punishment doled out by the Sandersons' boy. Of the many things he was, a gracious loser was not one of them. But perhaps I would get off lucky. Maybe he would face someone else in the contest and lose before reaching me. Therefore, his anger and aggression might lean in someone else's direction. Someone he might not be so prompt to want to take his anger out on. All I could do at this point was cross my fingers and hope that that was the case. As the man rifled through one of the hats selected off to the side, he first pulled a piece of paper out, unfolding it and reading the name written upon it. And our first contestant, the man exclaimed loudly, will be Eliza. Is there an Eliza here? Eliza jumped for joy, raising her hand. That's me. I'm here, she says, and with a carefree smile makes her way towards the table. All right, and our next contestant will be, the man says, reaching into the hat again, pulling out another small piece of paper and unfolding it. Reading the name, he exclaims, "Oh, it appears young Mr. Sanderson is first." And at the moment of the announcement, I swear that my heart skipped a beat. I was overcome with a sense of joy that I had not felt in a very long time. Beckett Sanderson was many things, but a scholastic gentleman was not one of them. He tended to excel at physical activities rather than book learning or knowledge. So, being placed against Eliza was a sure thing. He would lose, and therefore would have no reason to be upset with me. As he exited the line and headed towards the table to take his seat, wearing his usual attire of a fine brown vest suit, he basically dwarfed Eliza in size, nearly twice as tall as her. He, of course, emoted the confidence of a Sanderson. Blonde hair, good looks, charming when you talk to him in front of others, of course. It was only when you didn't see him that this charm suddenly faded away. He calmly waved to the audience as he took his seat, and as did Eliza. He smiled graciously across the table. Eliza, with her grin still plastered on her face, believing absolutely that she would claim victory in this little exchange. And I wasn't going to argue with it. Are the contestants ready to begin? The man shouted. Yes, Eliza replied. I am as well, said the young Sanderson boy, with a sly grin. He seemed happy with himself, most likely because he, unlike me, didn't know Eliza. Her demure physical size probably gave him the impression that she was younger than she is, and men, especially those of the young Sanderson son, tend to believe that women are lacking when it comes to intelligence. He was about to learn that he was very mistaken in this false assumption. The man began to shuffle his way through one of the hats at random, pulling out a piece of paper and unfolding it. He slowly read what was on the paper to himself. Okay, our first question for our contestants is, what is the proper process for enjoying a lovely 100-year-old Cabernet? Eliza looked at the man. What? She exclaimed. Beckett Sanderson quickly rung his bell, and the Sanderson boy gets his first attempt. So, young Beckett, what is the process for enjoying a 100-year-old Cabernet? Well, that's simple, Sanderson replied. When enjoying a fine wine of vintage such as that, it's customary to allow the wine to breathe in order for it to reach its maximum potential. Then you may pour yourself a refreshing glass. That is correct. Point goes to Beckett Sanderson. And just like that, all of the relief I felt slowly started to fade away. It seems that they've added culture into the mix. Wait, Eliza said. I thought this was a scholastic quiz. Oh, it is, young Eliza, the announcer exclaimed. All of the options for the test were selected by the adults. And among the test possibilities, questions were selected for etiquette, culture, history, mathematics, and other things. All subjects deemed to be important for the development of a fully cultured and educated individual. This is bad, I thought to myself. Eliza, when it comes to intellectual things, book learning, mathematics, history, she was above par in most. But when it came to culture and etiquette, she honestly didn't have that much interest in the matter. I often found myself correcting her while she was eating with me at the regular parties that my mother would attend. This was most definitely starting to look bad. The man began to rifle through the hat once again, pulling from it another piece of paper and unfolding it, reading the answer to himself quietly. I closed my eyes and quietly prayed, hoping that the next question would be something more up Eliza's alley. Our next question, what culture was it in ancient history that believed that you could carry wealth on with you into the afterlife? Eliza's bell rang in a flash. That would be ancient Egypt, Eliza exclaimed. I breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, so things are looking a bit up now. All Eliza had to do was answer one more question correctly, and I wouldn't have to deal with Beckett Sanderson. That is correct, the announcer exclaimed. 1 point goes to young Eliza. We are now in a tie game. Match point. The man began to rifle through the hat for the last time, drawing from it a piece of paper. And again I prayed that Eliza would be the one who claimed victory in this contest, that it would be something that would fall into her knowledge set. I would cross my fingers if it weren't obvious that I were doing so. Final question, the announcer exclaims. Name a city that is most well known for its highlighted fashion styles. I have a list, and whoever picks the name closest to the top will claim victory. Oh no, this is bad, I thought. Eliza sat there with a puzzled look on her face, hearing the bell ring from Beckett Sanderson's side of the table. I believe France is one of the top cities when it comes to fashion sense and styles, Beckett Sanderson said. That is correct. Do we have an answer from young Eliza? Spain, I think, Eliza replied, unsure of the correctness of her answer or not. Oh, I'm sorry, young Eliza. Beckett Sanderson has claimed victory not only by being the first to respond, but also giving a name higher on the list. Unfortunately, you are out. Eliza scowled angrily, got out of her seat and made her way back towards the lineup, and my heart sank as my chances of having to deal with Mr. Sanderson increased dramatically. Beckett, of course, smiled charmingly as he got up from the table, waving at the audience as he moved back to his place in line. And just like that, the countdown was on. Me waiting, hoping for somebody else to be the one to knock Mr. Beckett out of the competition.